After spending a little bit more time with the R-N1000A, and you guys obviously checking out that review, contemplating its long list of features, what about the rest of us that are asking the question, and we gotta ask this, well, so what? I mean, what if you don't need all the fluff, or frankly, it's not even close to being within your budget? And look, I get it. I am not in any kind of a position to be dropping 4 bills on an amplifier either. But hey, what if, in some kind of weird parallel universe, Yamaha decided to throw a bone to the blue collar, but didn't sacrifice the core features of the big boy? Let's take it a step further. What if this all-in-one and done solution was still showcasing the same network connection, same YPAO room correction, and if you're not sitting down yet, cost less than half the price of the R-N1000A? And with a warm welcome back to New Record Day, let's find out what in the what I'm rambling about. Before we dive in, this video is being sponsored by Safe and Sound. After hearing my take on the R-N2000, they want to see what I thought about its little brother and were kind enough to lend me this guy and put it through its paces. Even more, they carry a huge selection of Yamaha products, including the 1000A. Not only that, they also carry a ton of great speakers, DACs, turntables, and home theater products that are worth checking out as well. With lifetime, yes, that is right, lifetime technical support, flexible payment options, and a large selection of audiophile goodies to choose from, Safe and Sound will be thrilled to get you up and running in a quick hurry. All of the links that you need are down below, and please do tell them that Ron sent you. They are awesome to work with and will get you rocking out in no time. Meet the Yamaha R-N1000A, featuring authentic hi-fi quality with top art mechanical structure and top quality parts. The 1000 is prepared to kick the door down with a laundry list of useful features for the modern audiophile. ESS Saber DAC, YPAO, or reflected sound control and precision EQ for the ideal listening environment, HDMI ARC, MusicCast, high-performance DAC functions which support DSD 11.2 native and 384 kHz playback, original in-house design speaker terminals, and of course, moving magnet phono terminals for spinning the black circle. And best of all, drum roll please, street price is $1,800. So yeah, let's party. Since the feedback was so overwhelmingly positive about how useful it was showcasing the effects of the EQ circuit from the R-N2000A, let's do the same here and see if what we have inside the 1000 is any different. Now, the speakers that we're going to be using in this example are not the same as what we used before. Instead, let's check out these CSS Audio Typhons that Jay sent over and see what the heck we end up with. By the way, folks, the Typhons in this example are 9 feet into the room. 9 feet. And even still, we are hitting the mid-30s, which is very impressive. Anyhow, in red, we have our response from our listening position. Turning the treble knob approximately halfway up, we get our new response, which is in orange. Turning the knob all the way up, we get our response in yellow. Now, going in the opposite direction, again, we have our reference in red, orange with the knob halfway down, and yellow with the knob all the way down. Taking a look at the bass control, once again, we see our reference in red. Turning the bass knob approximately halfway up, we get our new response, which is in orange. Turning the knob all the way up, we get our response in yellow. Now, going in the opposite direction, again, we have our reference in red, orange with the knob halfway down, and yellow all the way down. So, like we did in the R-N2000 review, the purpose of showing this is to help you understand how the EQ is going to affect the overall tone and balance of this amplifier. Also, this will hopefully illustrate that this particular EQ circuit is not surgical. That is to say, if there is a particular spot or area within the bandwidth that you want to either cut or boost, this circuit will not necessarily do that. From what it appears, this is working more like a wide Q equalizer or a shelf, where a large chunk of the bandwidth is either cut or boosted. While so many audiophiles are perfectly content with living in the Stone Age, there is a large chunk of enthusiasts who want to embrace technology, control their entire library, and even control the amp with one simple application from their phone or tablet. MusicCast does exactly that. That's right, folks. You can even leave the remote in the box, and with a couple of clicks, fire up Qobuz, Tidal Connect, Spotify, Amazon Music, and so much more. Taking it a step further, you can even change inputs, control the amp's volume, and yes, even enable and disable YPAO, which is Yamaha's answer to room correction. By simply connecting a network cable into the back of this thing, your world of chaos and clutter just got a makeover, and using MusicCast does indeed make the audiophile life a little bit more peaceful. That is until we talk about cables. You guys want to talk about power cords for 45 minutes? This is not going to go well for anybody. While I had a bone to pick with Yamaha for the lack of moving coil flexibility in the bigger brother RN2000, I decided to show a little more grace in the more affordable offering of the 1000A. The Phono section is designed for moving magnet cartridges with the typical 47K loading. Grabbing something like the recently reviewed Ludwig Black will lead to toe-tapping goodness in no time, but I want to be honest. As much as I wanted to pontificate my adoration for the built-in Phono section, it's just okay. While I found it to be quiet and pretty clean sounding, I also felt like it lacked a little bit in the dynamics department. Even some affordable standalone units like the Shit Manny will certainly put a hurt on this thing and only set you back $150. Overall, while I'm glad they included the Phono section in this amplifier, I would imagine this won't blow the socks off anyone who has been around great sounding Phono sections. In case you missed it, with the RN2000, we not only looked objectively at what YPAO was doing, but you guys also had a chance to hear it for yourself. This time around, let's take a look and see if Yamaha is trying to slip one past us, or if we end up getting the same results in an amp that's half the price of its bigger brother. So, pause the video, grab some headphones, and let's mic up these Typhons.
close to your heartache. If you want, open your door. I'm feeling kinda lost when your mind is hiding whatever that is choking your chest. I will get close to your heartache. If you want, open your door. I'm feeling kinda lost when your mind is hiding whatever that is choking your chest.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And
Say something like you love me and make my day, like you always do, like you always do. Hold my hand and look me in the eyes so I can tell you how I feel. Say something like you love me and make my day, like you always do, like you always do. Hold my hand and look me in the eyes so I can tell you how I feel.
oh, here the ocean is near, but you dug a hole and buried my fear. Oh, here the ocean is near, but you dug a hole and buried my fear.
So this is interesting. While I'd make the argument that the same thing that we experienced last time is indeed the same here, I'm not quite as excited about the change that I'm hearing, at least with the Typhons. I know it's going to be a challenge to hear all of this in the clips, but hopefully you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. With YPAO enabled, it does seem to be trimming off the fat of bass, mid-bass, and lower mid-range, and for the most part, leaving the top end alone or making very little changes up there. In these sound clips, while that is exactly what I hear, I gotta say, especially in the room, I feel like the Typhons sound a little bit too trimmed for my liking or my taste with the YPAO enabled. One suggestion that I would offer up to Yamaha is maybe consider the inclusion of the listener having the ability to alter or create their own curves after YPAO has made its corrections. Either way, just like we did in the 2000 review, let's take a look at the objective data to back up what we heard or think that we heard. Wow! So it did lift 35 to 40 hertz, which is pretty dang dope, but just as I heard and hopefully you heard, while technically more linear, it did indeed shave off a fair amount of the body throughout the mid-range. You know, clearly this YPAO is working the same way in this amp as the more expensive 2000. But I must confess, you liking what it's doing might come down to the speakers and placement. While I appreciate the effect that it had on the NS2000As that we checked out, being honest, I prefer the sound of the Typhons with it disabled or turned off. Regardless, the point here is the room correction will make more drastic changes to lower frequencies than it will with higher frequencies. And that, my friends, is good news and the way that room correction should work. First things first, I did notice right away that this amp does sound similar to its bigger brother, the R-N1000A. So keeping that in mind, neither of these amps sound quite as exciting or detail-centric as the AS2200 we have already reviewed. To my ears, both the R-N2000 and now 1000 sound a little bit more relaxed or softer throughout the upper mid-range, upper harmonics, and top end. It also occurred to me while listening to this amp as well as its bigger brother that the voicing of the NS2000 speakers that we recently reviewed, that perhaps that pairing or pairings with speakers like that could work out pretty well. That is to say, if you happen to have a speaker that is more detailed or showcasing the upper harmonics, it might end up being a great match for either of these amplifiers. On the other hand, if your speakers already sound warm or lack detail and upper harmonics, it's possible that you might feel like this amp is lacking top end resolution and detail. Now, let me shift gears and add on to this. If you are curious where a lot of this voicing is coming from, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's the internal DAC or how that DAC is responding to the rest of the amp's topology. And no, not all DACs sound the same. And yes, I am crazy, but I'm also right. Can I prove it? Not with a sound clip, so being fair, take that opinion with a grain of salt, but I am right. Either way, in the event where you wanted to bypass the network solutions of this amp altogether and ditch a lot of the modern amenities, you can certainly do that. And in my opinion, even gain some more resolution and detail that both of these amps actually have to offer. But would making that move make any dang sense knowing a large chunk of your hard-earned money is now being flushed down the toilet as you make that change? I mean, think about it. You just ditched YPAO and MusicCast and all these cool little things about this amplifier. You just flushed it right down the toilet. So, would you do that? Does that make any sense? I mean, worse things have happened and it's totally up to you, but I wouldn't do it. Also worth noting and impossible to hear in the sound clips, both the R-N2000 and 1000 throw a soundstage more like a wall of sound. I was hoping by changing the DAC that I would be able to pull apart the performance a little bit more, but that didn't really happen for me. If you demand to have a ton of depth and separation in the music, I don't really hear that with either of these amplifiers, and while the stage is rather large, it sounds more like a wall of sound in the stage rather than instruments that have space or distance between them. And last, after the final thoughts, I did indeed take the time to mic up both of these amplifiers as a shootout scenario so you can hear them and judge them for yourself. In these clips, no EQ is applied to either amp and YPAO is disabled. So make sure you stick around after the review and give those clips a listen for yourself. Both the R-N1000 and R-N2000 are amplifiers delivered to us from the future. The flexibility of the MusicCast app is both freeing and points to a future worth celebrating as audiophiles. I love the technology built into both of the amplifiers, and I love the price point of the RN1000. Sure, we don't have VU meters or a couple other goodies from the bigger brother, but let's hit the bullseye of what matters the most. Both amps sound close enough to each other that only those with the most discriminating ears would even notice or even care. For less than half the price of its bigger brother, I'd expect the RN1000 will do quite well for Yamaha. And with that, I'll see you Yamaha-loving audiophiles in the next video.
I will get close to your heartache if you wanna open your door. I'm feeling kinda lost when your mind is hiding whatever that is choking your chest. I will get close to your heartache if you wanna open your door. I'm feeling kinda lost when your mind is hiding whatever that is choking your chest.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't don't stop for traffic lights. And
say something like you love me and make my day, like you always do, like you always do. Hold my hand and look me in the eye so I can tell you how I feel. Say something like you love me and make my day, like you always do, like you always do. Hold my hand and look me in the eye so I can tell you how I feel.
oh, here the ocean is near, where you dug a hole and buried my fear.